Hi there. My name is Tom from FISICO, Alba International Physical Theatre Festival. Today we are in the town of Albugnano, district of Asti, and behind me, what you can see is the Church of San Pietro, a beautiful church built in the 12th century. And today's topic, today's spiel, it's about no middle ground for your shows in the post-COVID era. Why I'm saying that? Well, because what is happening in the few theaters that are opening up in Europe right now, theaters are running at a low capacity. In Spain, for example, and I just had a conversation yesterday with a Spanish performing artist. Some theaters are open, but they're running at a capacity of 30%. Here in Italy, the government says that the theater will open again, but the maximum capacity for indoor theaters will be 25%, with a cap of 200 spectators allowed. So even if your theater has 1,000 seats, well, I'm sorry to say, you won't be able to host more than 200 people. Now, of course, that's going to have a ripple effect on the kind of shows that will be staged, not to mention the complications with regards to the artists on stage. For example, last year, if I remember correctly, they could not even touch each other, and social distancing was required even between the artists in a show. Now, that was not respected by anyone, I think, because it's just like quasi impossible to be, you know, to be self-aware and maintain a social distance when you're on the stage. Obviously, that law wasn't written by an artist. But having said that, not taking that into account, of course, there's going to be a decrease in revenues and a push towards open air theater, at least in the summertime. Because as it stands right now, for example, in Italy, you have the possibility of hosting shows with a maximum number of audience members of 1,000. And of course, they will have to be socially distanced and so on and so forth. So, what's the effect on the shows? Well, first of all, large shows. And when I say large, I'm going to open. We discuss later the concept of being large or big. Um, of course, large shows, which tend to be expensive, are not so much in demand any longer, and the preference from the point of view of the organizers goes to shows that have, I would say, from one to max three people on stage. And therefore, that's an opportunity. When we have a situation which is so asymmetrical in a way, that may be an opportunity also for people who are willing to take risks, which basically means that if you have a solo show that works, or if you have a duo, well, it's now it's the time to propose it, and chances are your show will be in high demand. Of course, the drawbacks is that it may be in demand, these shows, for a limited time, and we speak about the summertime here. But we gotta see how this situation will continue in the future, especially next year with the coming fall and winter, or next season, I should say, not next year. And however, I think this is something that was happening before, even before COVID. And if I remember correctly, I speak about large festivals such as the Edinburgh Fringe. If you run the statistics, what you would see is that these festivals, well, they tended to have less and less people on the stage as you go along. And if I remember correctly, when we're speaking about Edinburgh, I think the number of solo shows was increasing at a very rapid rate. So I don't remember the stats right now, but certainly in the span of 10 years, you would have seen that the majority of shows proposed were like solo shows or with two actors on stage and so on and so forth. That's because touring is expensive, being on a van, accommodation, and so on and so forth, food. So, with the mix of a decrease of the power purchase of the audiences in some countries, and together with the increase in costs, well, that was a push towards those kind of small scale shows. However, I think today it is the time to think big as well. And when I say big, it means very, very big. So basically, the middle ground is disappearing. Shows with four, five, six people on the stage are disappearing. Um, it is difficult right now to stage shows with 15 or people, or because, of course, of COVID. But at the same time, I think big shows are here to stay as well. And when I say big, they have to be very, very, very big, gigantic shows. I'm speaking about shows maybe with 30 people on the stage, or if not on the stage, in a square, with massive scenography and stuff like that. Why I'm saying that? Well, because what you may lack, uh, you know, when you, I think they're more visual in a way. So large shows, if you notice, everything is changing towards the visual in a way. And I think large shows which have a huge visual impact, performed also in unconventional spaces and unconventional venues, still have a future. What is happening, the middle ground is disappearing. That's why the title of this bill is No Middle Ground for Your Show. You gotta decide what kind of show you want to have. It's either small scaled, portable, that can tour at a low cost, or you gotta think about a big show and take your chances with that. And there's nothing wrong about thinking big. Remember that. Um, the thing is, it is better if you start small and then you kind of grow and are able to manage complex situations. But start with a thought in mind, in your vision for a future show. Where do I want to take this show? Where do I want to tour? Do I want to tour in my country or outside of my country? Can you visualize yourself, for example, performing a large theater in Shanghai if you are from France or Spain? You know, the mind has an incredible effect on your course of action. So what I'm saying is, now it is the time to think big. Doesn't matter if your show is small scale or big scale, and if it's big scale, once again, it's got to be big, like very, very big, which requires investment and being able to manage complex situations. So it's not for everyone, but try to think big. Don't think small. Don't stay in your niche. That's a big mistake during this period. Okay, like I said, the middle ground has disappeared. So either you're a person that takes chances, or you probably are doomed to, especially in this situation, to find an incredible number of obstacles. As there's a saying that says, "No good action will be forgiven," or something like that, and well, no small shows will be forgiven in this period. Okay, so think big, have a vision which is large. Okay, as large as the word, I would say. And with that touch of optimism, I'm gonna say bye bye. Behind me, the Church of San Pietro. Bye bye. Take care.